Namaskar, greetings to you all, respected chairpersons, respected senior faculty members, academicians, my dear colleagues. A very good afternoon to all of you. I congratulate NatCon 2020 team on their Platinum Jubilee celebration, and I will be sharing assessment of activity of daily living in respiratory disorders, especially concerned to the older people. At the outset, I convey my sincere thanks to Dr. V.K. Arora sir, Dr. Ashok Bajpai, Dr. Salil Bhargav, and the whole of the NatCon team for giving me this privileged opportunity to share my views. I bring greetings to you from the geriatric clinic of BLDE deemed to be university, Shri B.M. Pachal Medical College Hospital and Research Center. In next 13 minutes, I shall share my experiences and evidence-based medicine on why we need to assess activity of daily living in the people living with respiratory disorders, what should be our goals, what is the effect of the respiratory disorders on activity of daily living, what are the scales used to assess activity of daily living, and few strong take-home messages. We all are aware that the activities of daily living are the activities and the tasks that we routinely perform in our daily life, either in home or out of their home. The activities that are oriented towards taking care of oneself. Most of the respiratory disorders, they lead to the decline in the functional capacity, which in turn causes a lot of effect on psychological performance as well. So a functional decline in a patient with a respiratory disorder will be most of the time an initial symptom in geriatric practice. We come across the older people telling that I have stopped going for a walk. I have stopped climbing the staircase in my home. These are the initial symptoms which are restricting activity of daily living. The assessment of the activity of daily living shall be done by patient self, or there are tools available. The tools should be valid and should have been benefit in the assessing the activity in the patient with respiratory disorders, because nowadays there are specific tools available to assess activity of daily living for the people living with Alzheimer's, for the people having bilateral knee osteoarthritis, and many individual diseases. In the patient with respiratory disorders, we need to assess the activity of daily living, and this assessment will improve their survival and of course the functional status as well. We had a 78 years old male patient presented with fever, cough, and breathlessness for last 3 days, the known case of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and come with exacerbations. The history from the caregiver was that the old man has restricted his activity, cannot move from his bedroom to the dining table or the restroom. He is requiring assistance every day. Also, because I know the patient very well, I asked him, are you still driving or riding the scooter? And he said, no, I have stopped a week back. I stopped riding my scooter a week back. And even in our OPD, he was not able to walk, so he was being shifted on wheelchair. So the case scenario is important for us at this juncture because exacerbation of COPD in an older people leads to an acute and rapid decline in the functional capacity. So the activities of daily living has 3 domains. The one is basic activity of daily living, second, instrumental activity of daily living, and third, advanced activity of daily living. Now, what are our goals when we assess the activities of daily living? We need to identify the care issues where we need to concentrate and preserve independence in the older people. The most important goal will be to delay the disability and initiate rehabilitation process as early as possible. ultimately to promote a good quality of life. What is the need to assess? We need to assess to measure the functional status of the older people living with respiratory diseases, to assess the response to treatment. This also helps in prognostication in the long-term care. This is very, very important. The same patient in the case scenario, after 3 days of treatment, when he returns back to the OPD, he was telling that now I am able to move from my bedroom to the dining table. So that has improved his activity after treatment. So that is why the activity assessment helps us to know whether the response to the treatment is going on well, and what is the prognosis in long-term care. And of course, we need to improve the endurance in the older people who are living with chronic respiratory disorders. Now, how respiratory disorders affect on the functional capacity? It leads to reduced skeletal muscle strength in the lower extremity quadriceps, especially, and the expiratory muscles of respiration. Second, it has a reduced effect on body mass index, cognitive tasks, as well as sleep apnea. All these things leads to reduced forced expiratory volume, cognition, that is again very important, and the people with respiratory, especially COPD, who are working or operating machines, they will find it difficult in operating the machines, and most of the people will stop driving or riding the vehicles. As I mentioned earlier, it's the IADL, that instrumental activity like driving the car or riding the scooter, stops first, and then the activity of daily living, like just a transportation in the home from a room to the dining table. Now, how to assess activities of daily living? It can be by self-reporting by the patient itself, or assessment by the clinician, either by history or using the tools that are easily available nowadays. What is preferred here is assessment by clinician. Self-reporting by the patient can be either underestimating or overestimating. And during acute illness, it is very difficult for them to do such assessments. While as a clinician, we can assess them and just by asking question, and that will be more reliable. And in clinical examination, we will be seeing them, the activity they are doing. If you tell them to remove the sweater, that I want to record the blood pressure, you can remove the sweater, and if he says he requires assistance to require sweater, that itself tells that dressing is a problem with him. So one of the activity is impaired. And now we have valid scales available to assess the activity of daily living. And of course, we have to select a very specific scale for assessing in the respiratory disorders. Even in the clinical history, to some extent, we can assess the activities of daily living of as the patient complains that he has restricted some activities recently because of dyspnea or fatigue or generalized weakness. Tiredness and exhaustion are the commonest symptom in the people with respiratory disorders. The person may complain that I have stopped riding or driving, and assess the presence of anxiety, depression, and nutritional disorders in the older people with respiratory disorders, because it is anxiety and depression that constitute more than 50% for reduction in activity of daily living. They have fear that they may fall, or they fear that they will never get well, and they fear that they will become permanently dependent on others. Now, what to assess? The three domains that we are going to assess are basic activity of daily living, instrumental activity of daily living, and advanced activity of daily living. So basic activity helps us, means that it assesses self-care tasks that we are doing for our everyday routines, course. Instrumental activity of daily living measures the ability to maintain independent household chores, and advanced activity of daily living suggests to fulfill the societal, family, and community roles. Now, what we ask in basic activity of daily living, we ask for whether he baths on his own, do a dressing, attends the toilet, he has a good control of the bowel and bladder, grooming, Feeds, he takes food himself and transfers from room or from wherever in the home, he can transfer from one room to another room. In instrumental activity of daily living, we ask for the patient is able to do shopping, driving, use the transportation, public transportation, telephone, meal preparation, laundry, taking medicines and handling finances before the onset of the symptoms of the diseases. And advanced activity of daily living fulfills societal, community, and family roles that ensure participation in occupational and recreational tasks. Now, when to assess activity of daily living, it needs to be assessed as and when the patient present to us, either in an acute condition, acute exacerbations, chronic conditions, and even in the home when they are discharged, and we can assess, we can train their caregivers to assess whether he was not able to transfer from bedroom to the dining room earlier, whether after discharge of reaching 1 week after that, is he able to do that. Before admission, was it the things which you're not able to do, is he now able to do in the home? That can be assessed. So what are the scales preferred to measure activity of daily living? To measure basic activity of daily living, the CADS index of activity of daily living is mostly preferred. We ask for whether the patient is able to have bathing, dressing, feed, he can have food on himself, he can go to toilet and come back, he transfers from room to room, and he is mobile. So the scoring system is according to the scale that has been shown. If the patient is independent, you give a score for 1, and if he is totally dependent, we give 0 marks. And the 6 things that we ask for: bathing. So if he is able to bath on his own and come back, it can give 1. If he's dressing, able to dress, except for tying the lace or not able to put the socks, okay, such things are not given due consideration, so still he can receive 1 mark. Toileting, transferring, continence, and feeding, so 1 mark each for yes if they are independent, and 0 for if they're dependent on the caregivers for these things in the life. So that has a maximum score of 6 and the minimum of 0. The score of 6 suggests there is a full function. Score of 4 suggests moderate impairment, and score of 2 or less, there is a severe functional impairment in the older people who are living with chronic respiratory disorders or with acute exacerbations. The second domain to assess is an instrumental activity of daily living. We have Lawton and Brody scale, which is commonly used. What is importance about instrumental activity of daily living is it diminishes earlier than the basic activities. So the older people or the middle-aged people who are having respiratory disorders, they will stop the instrumental activity of daily living earlier than the basic activities. So as evident in the case scenario that I have discussed, the person stopped riding the scooter first a week before. Then there was a problem in transferring and attending the even the bathroom and dressing and having the food. So IADLs, they diminish earlier than the basic activity of daily living, and these activities, instrumental activities, are scored based on what an individual can do. That's very important, rather than what he is or she is doing. In instrumental activity, we are not going to see to demonstrate how you are going to drive a car. No, if he says that I have come by public transport, it is using it. If he says I am driving the car, yes, he is driving the car. So we are not here to assess what he is doing. What we can know what he is doing. So the demonstration of functional task is not measured in IADL, whereas in basic activity daily living, we ask them, we can even observe in our own OPD that whether the person is able to move from a chair to our bed or waiting room to our consulting chamber. That is how we can assess. So in instrumental of activity daily living, whether he is able to take medicines properly, whether he can use the telephone, use the public transport, can prepare meals, laundry, and housework. So what is again measured in instrumental activity of daily living is whether the person is able to use the telephone, laundry, mode of transportation. He himself can take all the medications and has ability to maintain the finances and is able to do housekeeping, food preparation, and shopping. So accordingly, we give the points for each of the subdomains that we are having. So A score of maximum 8 for the women and score of maximum 5 in the men is is being scoring range. So 0 is low function or they are dependent, and 5 in men and 8 in women are, they say that it's a high good function or they are independent. In men, what happens is they are not considering food preparation, housekeeping, and laundry. So these 3 points have been taken out for the men, whereas they are usually done by women, and that is why the number 8 or score of 8 is provided for them. So instrumental activity of daily living is the one which affects first in most of the respiratory disorders than the basic activity of daily living. And measuring IADL is a baseline assessment tool, and to compare baseline function to periodic assessments which can be beneficial. This is the advantage of measuring instrumental activity of daily living. The third domain is advanced activities of daily living. Here we just have to ask him how active he is in the society, or is attending community programs, he's attending temples, church, or he is volunteering to going out for a dinner or a theater. If it is yes for everything, then, or any of the thing, then his activity of daily living, advanced activity of daily living, were good or excellent. But has it reduced of late? Yes, definitely. Changes in these activities reflect a precursor to instrumental activities and basic activities dysfunction. So once they are avoiding these things, it is assessed that these are the people who can go for reduction in instrumental activities than the basal activities or basic activities thereafter. So what's the impact of all these functional assessment and the status that we do in the patients of respiratory disease? What we learned from that is there was a study, a longitudinal analysis of older adults who had independent activity of daily living and mobility, and they compared that with an patient who are a dependent, who are been diagnosed as dependent on an activity of daily living. What they have found was there was a diminished survival in the patients who were dependent on the ADLs. For example, they also found the life expectancy of an activity of daily living disabled 75-year-old is similar to that of an 85-year-old independent person. So this is a very important study that has come across, which says that if the old man or the person with the respiratory disorder is dependent by means of ADL scoring, his life expectancy is reduced. Okay, and the impact of disability approximates being 10 years older with much more of the remaining life spent disabled. So this was an important aspect of the activities of daily living, especially in the people living with respiratory disorders. We do have many scales to measure activities of daily living, like another score is Barthel index. Then in instrumental activity, we have Philadelphia score for activity of daily living, instrumental activity of daily living. But because of the commonly used scores and scales that I have discussed here, there are many more. And what we had discussed about the scoring of 5 and 8 in instrumental activity of daily living, recently in 2013, few studies have come to say that both can be same. 8 should be considered both in males and females, but that is a controversial. But as of now, what we can, the take home message will be, for men, it will be 5, and for women, it will be out of 8 as far as instrumental activity of daily living is concerned. So the take home message is combination of scales is more responsive to identify the problems or the functional capacity in the people living with respiratory disorders. Just measuring basic activity will not help. We have to combine instrumental activity as well as basic activity of daily living along with advanced activity. That will help us to understand the person better, his comorbidities, his functional capacities, and the need for rehabilitation can be assessed properly. Of course, nowadays computerized adaptive testings are now available online. So if the busy clinicians are there, they can even do it computerized. But it is incorporated, if it is incorporated in the history taking and history from caregivers itself will tell that what all the activities has been curtailed by the person and how much it is affected in his day-to-day activities because of the acute exacerbation or an acute disease. These assessments also predict mortality in the older adults. This is very important. So we need to assess what was the active functional status by means of activity of daily living before admission, so that when we start treating, we should ensure that we should reach the near level of independence that he had before the admission. So what is important difference between basic activity and instrumental activity is basic activity of daily living identifies minor changes. It's very important. Minor changes, even minor change today, hypoxia or tachypnea, that will affect transferring in the home. Whereas instrumental activity of daily living identifies early changes. It's very, very important. So if an middle-aged or an old person having respiratory disorders has stopped or has a less score on instrumental activity of daily living, definitely he has more serious problem. And within 24 to 48 hours, they rapidly deteriorate, and thereafter their activity of daily living also drastically decline, leading to dependency. So with these assessment scales, we can plan a rehabilitation which helps the patient recover over the long period of time. So I thank you all for your patience hearing. So if they have got any critics, or you can post to my email. Thank you very much to all.